What is up, Solar fan? It's your host, Ian of the Intersolar Podcast. Happy New Year. We're ringing it in with the full team of Solar Decks, John and Richard. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to be here.
Hey, I'm glad to be back on the podcast.
Hey, glad to have you guys. And Richard, I know there's some things going on in the background, and while you're not on camera, shed a little light on that.
Yeah, so turns out now that we're having celebrities on our podcast, my whole family is tuning in. So, biggest question I got from family was, why do I look like a werewolf? So, one, trying to avoid that this week. Two, my webcam is actually down, so I got another one on standby. So, hopefully, it should be in by next week.
Hey. Yeah, the werewolf. I know it was a full moon last week, so I
Shut up.
definitely got those questions. Well, hey, as Richard said, we had Carol Baskin on last week, and honestly, so much fun having her as a guest on the podcast. If you haven't checked it out, check out our last episode, episode 5. We talked about the crypto space, kind of getting Carol's opinions and what she's doing in the crypto space as well as her NFTs out there, how we can support her as a community, and just a lot of good things coming in the future and really getting Solar Decks out to a whole nother community that might not know about this too. So check it out, like, subscribe, seamless plug always. But what we really want to talk about this week is the token itself and where we are on the decks, just because we have some exciting timelines to nail down. So first of all, we haven't mentioned the token in a while. So I really want to talk about the token, where it's at, where we're going, and seeing what trends that are in the market and what we've seen as a team. So, John, I think you got the price pulled up. What are we sitting at?
Yeah, so I have the price pulled up, the charts on CoinGecko, and right now we're sitting at 2.3 right now. So that's up 5.5% today. It was higher at one point, but what we're seeing overall is this trend. If you look at the max view of the chart, it's kind of what we were predicting at the beginning. People were going to get in on the pre-sale and the private sale, and they were just going to try, they weren't in this for the long haul. They're just going to try and make a quick buck. They go pump and dump, and then the sell off. So a few days after the launch of the token, imagine that. That's what's happening. But now that we're getting closer to the beta testing of the DEX and the eventual launch of the DEX, people are kind of being reminded that there's actually a product behind this. Also questions with claiming the other 20% of their vested tokens. So we're just seeing this trend back upwards towards our all-time high. And it's a beautiful thing because people are just, starting to realize what's going on. We're currently tradable on LBank and Radium and soon to be our own exchange.
Yeah, and I think it's important because I think we said this in like episode 2 or 3 that a lot of folks, they're questioning it in the Telegram. Hey, what's the utility of this token? What's the point of this project? And a lot of folks forgot that, like, hey, we have a DeFi exchange coming out. And I think that's what's so exciting about this project and with the token itself. And like you said, as we're starting to get to the closer of the date where the DEX is going to be launched, we see a lot more people getting more involved again. So as a community, like John said, we saw a lot of like early adopters come in and then just sell off, trying to make that quick buck. But I know the community itself, a lot of feedback that we've gotten as a team is, hey, we're in this for the long haul. So I was just got to say, hey, the DEX is coming soon, and the token is what is going to be that native token. So if you're still holding on to the Solar token itself, once we launch that DEX and it's getting traded more and more, that's when we're going to see those big returns. So the sky's the limit on here. Like I always say, we're shooting past the moon, and I think we're on the right track for that too. So now that we talked about the token, let's get to the real good stuff. And drum roll, please, for Richard. I know you've been working with the devs a lot, hand in hand. What do we have on the horizon for the DEX itself?
Yeah, so normally I have daily calls with the development team. So the latest and greatest update that I received this week was, hey, I want to transition into staking since the smart contract behind it will be less complex than the actual exchange itself. So we're looking at a full rollout of staking here in 10 days. So we should be able to stake Solar in 10 days from now. So I'm pretty excited about that. Right now, we have a poll on Twitter where we're kind of letting the community decide the length of the lockup of solar tokens. But as it stands right now, we're looking at 60% APR, so that'll be really high. So that's pretty exciting.
As I say, on a scale of like 1 to like really good, I think that's on the really good side. I mean, I've seen like staking for like 6%. I've seen some like really individual like isolated incidences of like 400%, but I think 60% is going to be the real sustainable APR. If I correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, definitely. So the way, like you mentioned, it's kind of a hit or miss. So we're trying to do it where it's fixed. Like even though like everyone is staking, that 60% APR is fixed. It's not going to go down. Whereas you have these coins, they launch, hey, farm and stake with us, you'll get 400%. But the more and more people get into there, that 400% magically within 30 minutes is now changed to like 40%. So that's where we're coming in. This is, hey, 60% is 60%. It's not going to change.
Yeah, and I think that's a really big thing to like really shed some light on too, because a lot of projects will say, hey, it's 400%, but it's on a sliding scale. And with ours, it's at that fixed scale, 60%. There's not going to be anything hidden to make that go less than that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the best way to look at it is literally like a passive income stream. Like you stake in return for locking your tokens, you're getting free money. You'd be dumb not to do this.
Yeah, I know I always see those memes online where it's like, hey, do you want like $1 a day or like 5 million upfront in cash? And everyone just makes fun of it. It's like that dollar a day. That's called residual revenue. But in this case, the more solar that you hold, the more residual you can make on it. Is that correct too?
Yeah, exactly. So 60% of your total supply that you've staked. So the more you stake, the more you buy, those bigger returns come into play.
See, that's where HODL really comes into play right now too. We want to make sure that we're doing the best for the community once again. And part of that is the more solar that you hold, the more you can make through the staking. And knowing that's going to be released here in what, like 10 days, you said?
10 days.
10 days. That's like the light at the end of the tunnel right there. So we got staking coming in 10 days. Where are we at with the actual DeFi exchange itself?
Yeah, so as far as the Dex goes, we're actually ahead of schedule, which is awesome to announce. So as of now, they're doing finalizing touches on locking liquidity. So they plan on doing a dev in-house test over the course of the next 7 days. Based on those findings, theoretically, if everything went well, the Solar core team, us three, will do an in-house beta test that'll probably last 2 days. So depending on those findings and bugs that we find, theoretically, if everything is functioning smooth, they're quick fixes, theoretically, we can do a Solar community test where we incentivize essentially trying to break the exchange here in 2.5, 3 weeks.
Okay, so let's see. Would the beta testing with the developers themselves be after staking, or is that like 7 days starting right now?
7 days starting right now.
Okay, so we got staking 10 days, beta testing, and us testing as well. That'll take like 9 to 10 days as well. So after that, 2 to 3 weeks for the community then?
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then this is all dependent on what they find and what we find, because we basically want to give the community a near final product to test. That way they're like, hey, I don't see anything wrong with it. Then we can just fully launch.
That's awesome. So probably like 3 to 4 weeks of full launch, right?
Possibly, depending.
Theoretically.
Yeah, my disclaimer. These people take these words to heart, man. So my disclaimer is theoretically.
I mean, talking about theoreticals is a lot better than what ifs. So,
Or certain dates and we don't meet them. So
yeah,
I don't want to overpromise the community anything, but theoretically 3 to 4 weeks should be good.
and like you said, we want to really provide that finalized product where it's not like, oh shoot, like we forgot about A, B, and C. Now we have to go back to the devs, relaunch the product, and then it's just kind of missed in communication for people that are just getting into the product too. So I think the clarity on the timelines of like, hey, we're doing beta testing with devs, we're doing beta testing with us, and we're going to do beta testing with the community too before fully launching. I think that's just all good news, just so we have that finalized product that's going to make the most impact on the community when it launches too.
Yeah, so I mean, like in best case scenario, we got someone goes, "Hey, you spelt this wrong," and that's it. Like, okay, easy fix.
Yeah, I mean, none of us are English majors, so that's bound to happen. But
Yeah, it'll happen.
yeah, we're trying to catch that on the front end. Like I said, we want the finalized product to be clean and pristine for you guys to trade on too. So, I mean, anything else to add on the decks and what to expect?
Yeah, so I mean, our in-house beta testing with S3, my expectation is we do our due diligence. We stress test this. As the community knows, I'm a full-time security engineer. So I'm going to be trying to literally break this thing for like 48 hours. And with that being said, literally, I want to try and deliver a final product for the community beta test. So that's my goal.
And honestly, like I consider myself a pretty confident guy, but just knowing that you're going to be doing those stress tests and having us involved with that too just gives me even more confidence behind the DeFi exchange, because once it actually launches, that's how we're going to have that final product be the most complete product that we can put out there too. So that gets me super excited about everything going on too. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, by the time this thing gets audited, we want the auditors to be like, "Yeah, we couldn't find shit." So
That's what we call a best case scenario.
exactly.
And if they don't say those exact words, I'll be kind of upset.
Well, whatever they find, we will remediate right away in order to get a passing score. So
Definitely, because like we said, we're trying to do all the right things. So going through all these steps and these stages with the audits and everything too, like I said, that's just testament of like what we're trying to do for you guys as a community, just because the solar fam is the best fam out there, right?
that's right.
100%.
Yeah, speaking of the solar fam, I know I personally got a lot of DMs about NFTs, and I will be 100% completely honest. I think we said this last week, Carol too. It's that our at least mine and Richard's knowledge on NFTs is like pretty new to the market too. And I know John, you've been kind of researching NFTs, seeing where the future lies in those. So give us a little insight what you found about NFTs and how they can play into solar decks too.
Yeah, from all the feedback I've been getting in the chat, Solar Fam's been very interested in an NFT marketplace. I've been seeing that since the beginning, and then I've been seeing it more and more now that this is getting closer to being a final product. Can't reveal too much, but what I can say is that we are talking with a partner right now that could be massive, and it could hugely benefit everyone involved, especially if you have a love for NFTs. This is gonna be an amazing thing. I promised the team I can't give away too much until everything is finalized, but stay tuned, because probably next week I would say we're gonna have some big news.
Will there be aliens?
Yeah, a couple, and
Woo!
also stoned apes.
Sign me up.
That answers the question if there's
and a werewolf.
real life.
Hey,
and a werewolf.
No werewolves.
No,
Backing out.
We just call him
no. Yeah, we're having a werewolf token. We're deploying a werewolf token, and that's a fact. I said it. I'm manifesting it. It's gonna happen.
All right. Well, while we're going this route, the in-house joke is we're trying to hype Ian up to start his own meme project called Fully Doxed.
We're not going to talk about that, all right?
Ian, you want to go ahead and explain what Fully Doxed is?
It's a pure picture project, but not happening. Not happening at all.
Yeah, we'll see.
Man, I can't believe you mentioned that, to be honest. Yeah, John gave us a rundown right before this too about the project that he's working with, and like you said, don't want to give anything away, but the NFTs, they're here to stay. I know there's a lot out there saying crypto is like a failing community, NFTs are just another fad project, and all the evidence is pointing that one, crypto is here to stay. It's getting more and more out into the public and just being that go-to tradable community, as well as NFTs just blowing up for literally, like I said, I don't know too much, but they're blowing up for whatever reason. So like we wanted to do with the Solana network, we want to get into NFTs as early as possible too. So from what John has told us, that's on the horizon. Can't give too much away, but big things, and just wanted to kind of put that little segue in there for anyone asking about those NFTs as well. But on top of that, I know Richard's been working with a lot of different projects too. Are you able to get us any insight on those projects, or are we going to keep those a secret until the launch date of the Dex?
So unfortunately, we're going to keep that a secret for now, because as of now, I think we've in total have almost around 20 projects in a group chat, and these projects range from not launched to fully launched and have like almost 10,000 holders. But what I can say is we are trying to form an alliance with as many Solana-based projects as possible. And the community might be like, well, why? What does this do? What's the significance in this? Essentially, it's free marketing, free advertising. We get to absorb some of their community and vice versa. Now, of course, it's not like a guaranteed thing, but we still need to pitch our ideas to each other's communities. But as of now, we've all kind of talked and we're all in kind of an agreement like, hey, what we're trying to do is literally going to be like the biggest thing on Solana. We've never seen these many projects come together with a common goal to try to accomplish something. So that's where we're at with that. This just started a couple days ago, so we're still in the process there.
Yeah, so Solar Dex is kind of building a background army right now. So once we actually launch and go to war, we have a huge army behind us where we can make the most out of everything too. So I know I just joined that group chat too with all these projects. And honestly, I know I say it a lot, but I'm super excited. Like, like now that I'm on camera, you can see how much I'm smiling and how excited I am about one, Solar Dex, and two, just the community all together with all the different projects we can bring on, and literally the sky's the limit. Like with Solar Dex, this is kind of life-changing stuff, and it's going to be big, and I'm super excited for it. So covered the token, we covered the Dex, we covered the projects that we're have on the horizon. So I know it's going to be short and sweet this week, but any final thoughts on your guys' end that we want to let the community in on?
Apparently not. No.
Alright.
I thought Richards had some words of wisdom, but apparently not. No.
I thought you were going to go first. You always end with the best, so I thought you were going to go first.
That's why I do the outro.
Damn.
Oh.
NFTs are cool. Boom.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I just want to end it with this. Like the whole partnership thing, it is going to be huge. The last message we got is we're all in agreement. We're going to get a Cointelegraph article. We're going to get some PR announced for this alliance. So just stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And like I said, big things on the horizon, big things from Solar Dex, big things from other projects too. So as we get these updates, of course, on the Intersolar podcast, we'll give you those updates as soon as we get them too. So transparency is key. We've been super transparent throughout the time right now. So tune in next week. We'll have some more updates for you, maybe even have another guest celebrity. But until then, I'm Ian, sitting down with Richard and John of Solar Dex. And like I said, like, subscribe, share this video to everybody. I know we're big on Twitter too. So make sure to retweet. We got some cool shirts coming out. So if you're part of the Telegram, let me know if you'd want one. We'll see if we have enough demand to drive that full bulk purchase too, so we can get this out into the public. But any questions or anything, feel free to DM any of us. Marketing proposals will probably be shot down or not responded to right away. So put that in there. Yeah, just to let you guys know, we have so many DMs and literally 99.9 of them are scams. So if you have anything worthwhile to actually share, the easiest way to do is share it on Twitter. We can actually respond to that. And if you tag the accounts that you want us to reach out to as well, or the accounts that you represent, it's an easy way to bet. So with that being said, once again, your host of Intersolar, Ian, sitting down with John and Richard. And pleasure talking to you guys. Pleasure being on here. And until next time, we'll see you past the moon.
All right. Take
Take
care. See
care.
you boys next week.
See you guys.
Let it.